Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth episode of the Grizzled Veterans podcast. We finally got this to work through some audio and visual. Well, we haven't fixed all the visual problems, as you can still see.
Oh,
Can't see Donovan's beautiful face.
he's so disappointed that all you get to see.
Oh, very. You have no idea, but we're not going to go into this here because our time is limited. But audio problems aside, who do I have with me?
This is the Mr. Donovan O.
The no video.
The no video Donovan O.
That's right. Donovan, how you been? It's been a minute since we recorded. Last time we sat down together.
It was the holidays.
Right before New Year's. Before New Year's.
Doing all right. Setting some new horizons and working on some musical projects. But I batted Nier out of the park, so we can get into that later. And
speaking of Horizons, Horizon Forbidden West came out today.
Yes.
Which is, what is today anyway? February 18th? Yes.
So, is it the 18th?
It is the February 18th. So, yeah, we can get in and talk about that. We got a few things on the slate. As always, the Grizzled Veterans rarely keep up on day-and-date games, but today we're going to talk a little bit about Forbidden West. We haven't exactly played it, but we can talk about the first game and our feelings and hopes for the sequel going in.
Absolutely.
I thought we'd just start on obviously the tried and true, what we've been playing. Have we got anything new? Why don't you go ahead?
Well, I mean, I went hardcore into Nier and got all 5 endings. I mean, we can get into depth with that later on, full, but
sure, yeah. I'll let you go. You can give your mini review in a bit.
But yeah, I dove right into that one and put the work in. Now I'm just kind of casually playing around with some Final Fantasy 13 stuff.
Wow. What are you playing that on?
On Xbox One.
Okay.
Backwards compatibility. It's one of those ones where I was actually, because it looks great on the backwards compatibility, despite with 13.2 they decided not to uncompress the video from the 360 version. So some of not all of the cutscenes, but some of the cutscenes are compressed, so it looks kind of jank. But the gameplay looks really nice and sharp, and it's a fun game.
Well, 13, however you feel about it, it's still unquestionably, at the time, it was a showstopper game, and it's still a good-looking game.
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing.
Like you said, you uncompress that video, and it's going to hold up.
Well, I mean, for the first part, they did upgrade the video for the 360 version. So if you play part 1 on backwards compatibility, it looks fantastic.
Nice.
Everything's beautiful. Like, it's interesting that they had to do that for the 360 version in the first place, because I played them both originally on PlayStation 3. Mm-hmm. I played the entire 13 series on PlayStation 3, and so now I just kind of go back for funsies, and I'm getting trophies and
13.
Stuff like that.
The original 13 is still a blind spot. I mean, I got most of the way through, and then I just fell off. I mean, I've told you this story many times.
Yeah.
13.2 I absolutely love. I even really like Lightning Returns, but 13 is a game I always think about. I'm like, you know what? I should go back and do this. And then it just, oh man, it turns me off so much. But another day, another story for another time.
I played through it a second time.
I know you did.
Yeah.
You love it. You've told me.
And like, I've done everything in the game. I wasn't able to get all of the achievements because some of them, that's a notoriously hard game to get all the achievements in. So, I played pretty hard into that, but there's some serious grinding to do at the end if you want to get everything.
Yes, I've read.
And you're already at the end of the game and you've accomplished everything. So the only thing you're doing is grinding to get, gear for those micro.
It's like an MMO.
Yeah, those micro stat improvements that you get with all the grinding you do. It takes forever, but it's fun.
You get anything cool lately?
Gear wise or anything like that? I'm just about to get my new TV.
What are we getting?
Well, see, now I'm hearing about. I guess the new models are going to start coming out pretty soon, but I'm looking at getting the LG OLED C1. But the C2 is about to come out.
How many inches?
I go with a 55 because that's as big as I can go in my space.
Yeah, but sometimes with the new models, like like the current best model will drop in price exorbitantly.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm kind of
and
expecting.
because that's how I picked up my Sony 65 that's mounted in my living room. It was like the top of the line one. I don't know, the X950 something, but it was like the best one of the last generation.
Sure.
It used to be well over $3,000. I got it for $1,650 when the new models came out.
I'm kind of hoping, like, I've been waiting. This one I've been watching has only been going down by 15% every time it goes on sale, and I'm like, I at least want to get it for 25% off. But yeah, with the new models coming,
I'm sure persevere, wait it out. You'll definitely find it.
But it's a really nice TV, and well, for that matter, see how much the new model is when it gets.
So is it OLED? What is it?
Yeah, it's OLED, 120 hertz.
Oh, nice. Very good.
4K, of course, but
it'll make a huge difference.
The LG OLEDs are kind of recommended for gamers.
Okay.
I've been doing a bit of research and watching some tech guys on YouTube, and everything they're saying is like, if you're getting these TVs primarily for gaming, which is kind of what I'm doing, they recommend the LGs. So
very good. Very good. Well, can't wait. I'm excited for you to get.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. Like, I mean, for video games and film, like if that's what you're into out there, and I'm sure you are if you're listening to this, the TV can make such a big difference.
Well, and then there's because I don't have a 4K TV yet, I haven't even considered getting a 4K Blu-ray.
You're in for a great time.
So I think Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be my first 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah, I have that pre-ordered. So I still haven't seen it, by the way. So.
Oh shit, you haven't seen it yet? So
no, I haven't seen it.
Because we could have talked about that too.
No,
but,
I
gotta tell you, it was.
I'm barred for the movie.
The reports are real. It's really effing good.
I heard. I'll blow it out of my.
Well, for me, and I'll just say this much, and it's certainly nothing to do with story or anything, but I wasn't the hugest fan of the MCU version of Spider-Man, and this movie kind of fixed a lot of the things that I didn't like about it. So that's a really good thing for me too, being kind of a more old school Spider-Man fan.
I'm excited to see it for sure. And then you got Doctor Strange coming out soon,
which, again, Sam Raimi, it looks fantastic.
I think it looks great. There's so many Easter eggs in there.
Oh, dude.
Deadpool's going to be in it. I don't know whether it's a cameo or what, but
dude, there's going to be. But if the rumors are true, there's going to be a ridiculous amount of cameos in this.
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
and some of them could be a split second.
Come in, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, all kinds of shit. So
I really liked the first Doctor Strange movie.
I did too.
Really good.
Actually, it's one of my favorite MCU movies. Honestly,
likewise. That's why you and I are friends. You have good taste. Winter Soldier's still the best though.
That's definitely a really good one too.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, honestly, once you see this new Spider-Man one, you're probably gonna.
Yes, it may change. I mean, most people put it up.
I don't want to hype it up too much, but
no, honestly, you can't hype it anymore for me. I'm already like uber hyped.
Yeah.
So, but we've talked about Spider-Man. I think we'd got into it in depth on our feelings on it last podcast. But
sure,
I just think Winter Soldier's the best. I mean, what it did for Captain America, the action scenes, it's such an incredible movie. The opening basically being like an homage to the Metal Gear Solid 2 tanker episode. They had me right away. Such a good movie.
Yeah. Did you get any new toys?
I did. I'm itching to show you. So I bought this game here. It's called The Edge of Eternity.
Okay.
It's like it's a RPG by like a small team, but like it's big budget in scope. Like there's guys from like big teams out there. Look it up, Edge of Eternity.
Okay.
It was like a $49.99 brand new game.
Okay. I got gifted a copy of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Oh yeah, I saw you. Were you playing it?
I've loaded it up, but I haven't started playing it yet.
Okay.
I know, because I figure it's something that, once I start, it's going to be quite a journey, right? So,
I got this.
My goodness.
This is the big daddy I got today. It's the Horizon
Whoa.
West Regalia edition. So I got my stupid a big elephant.
Are you gonna? I hope you're actually gonna open that and put it in some kind of display or something.
Oh yeah, like as you can see around here, that you can see it all here. I got tons more the other side. I don't know why I get these things. But I'm not gonna play this game right away. I'm gonna wait a bit, like we always do.
Oh,
But
dude, let it get patched up a little bit.
See all that stuff on the back. This box is huge. Honestly, this is probably, other than the Doom Eternal Collector's Edition that came with the helmet, this is probably the biggest one I've gotten. Like, I guess the Final Fantasy VII one with the Cloud Strife motorcycle was wide, like width-wise longer, but that one's pretty cool. The next one, though, Elden Ring. I get that one in the mail.
Yeah, that's next week.
Yes, it is. So, why don't you... we'll move into what we're playing. Why don't you give us the lowdown on Nier here? I'm excited to hear your thoughts. I mean, Nier's not a new game by any means. I mean, it's a remake of an old PS3 game. But...
okay, let's just put this into perspective for everybody then. Like, I don't think you or I either played the original Nier. That was.
So I played it way late, like years.
No, I'm not talking Automata. I'm talking.
No, I'm talking the original.
Oh, you played the original?
Yeah, I have it on PS3. It's on my thing. Now, I didn't play through it.
Right.
I just played it. It was very rough.
Okay, so you were actually familiar with the world before I was then, because Automata was my introduction
somewhat.
to it.
Yeah,
and Automata blew my mind, and we've talked about that. Replicant. It was really nice to come back into this world and have it actually be like a prequel. So I will say that overall, it doesn't have the same scope as Automata does. I will say that Automata is a superior game, but that doesn't mean that Replicant wasn't a really fun journey. I did put the time in to get all 5 endings, and it's worth doing that because
so is the 5th ending the one that they added for this version?
Yes.
Okay, so you did get that. Okay,
and I did get
we're not going to spoil it here.
Well, I mean, I'll just say that it's the one that involves having your data erased.
Exciting.
But actually, this game gives it back to you.
Oh, good.
By getting that ending. So I'm not going to give any spoilers here, but one of the endings has you erase your data. In order to get the secret ending, you have to start a new game after that with a brand new character with a different name from your original character. And once you play up to a certain point in the game, something different happens.
I see.
And you go from there. And that's all I'm going to say, because the creative minds behind this series are some impressive minds, we'll say. I really am a fan of Yoko Taro at this point. His world that he's created with this Nier universe is fascinating to me. I find it really, really cool. The stories he's telling within this universe are really neat. And god damn, this game is sad.
I know. That's the thing. Like, it is, like, it pulls no punches with the story.
I'm serious, man. Again, like, without saying too much, like, so many people die in this game. It's like,
did you cry?
I didn't cry, no, but it was just like, it's heavy. Like, it doesn't seem like it at first, but like the themes and the overarching story that's being told is like some pretty serious stuff. And I mean, at times it can have a light tone, and it's kind of good that it's got that kind of stuff in it. But yeah, like once you get to a certain point and you start to understand what's going on, and I guess you would already have an idea if you played the Automata game. But so I played through all of Nier, and I'm going to give it like an 8.5.
Okay.
Music's excellent. Presentation's excellent. I would say that the music isn't quite as good as Automata, but still lots of great stuff in there. A few familiar themes, I guess they've kind of reused.
Well, a lot of the themes carry over from Automata. It's funny because like a lot of Nier purists prefer the original Nier. Like, I shouldn't say purists, fans. a lot, like I hear guys that are super into it end up they're like, I loved Automata, but I still prefer the original. So it's interesting
I
just to see.
I couldn't understand. I'd have to like talk to the person and be like, okay, tell me what was it that was better or different that you
Mhm.
liked or preferred, because I mean, to me, this feels like a closer representation of what they were probably trying to achieve in the first place.
Mhm. Oh,
Um,
sure.
I mean, they changed it quite a bit for North America, so I'm assuming that someone like that is playing the version, like the Japanese version or whatever it is, right? So, um, I ended up watching a bunch of like lore videos and stuff like that after
Yeah,
once I
you
got
have
to
to.
the end of the game and stuff, because it's really deep.
Of course.
Because this is actually a sequel to the Drakengard games, which again I think we've mentioned on the show.
It's like an
But
abstract sequel. Like I
yeah,
guess I
it's the same
now I can't
universe.
speak. So kinda. I'm not super familiar with the Drakengard, of course.
Well, I've never played one either, but
We've talked about this, but I'd love for them to re-release the trilogy and remaster it and just bring it up to
sure. I
date.
mean,
I'd 100% buy it. But I guess Nier is there's a bunch of endings like Drakengard has a bunch of endings like Nier
yeah,
does, and
and
this is
and
one of the possible paths from one of those endings.
I think what's going on is like ending in the series is apparently the definitive ending in most of their games.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
which is again, like I watch too much YouTube. But I get curious because again, I find this series really fascinating. It really in a time when I feel we're lacking in a lot of creative writing, in a lot of our entertainment right now, you get something like Nier that comes along and is just, a great example of, you got great characters. The themes they're presenting are mature and have an impact on the player as you get progress through the story. I mean, you've got all the other things you need in a video game. Great gameplay. There's some great environment design, and there's even stories told in the environment. So,
hmm
yeah, 8.5 easy.
Good. No, I got through. Well, I'm well past the halfway point, and I don't know what happened. I picked something up, and then I gravitated to that, and I sort of left it behind. I'm definitely gonna play it again. Combat wise, definitely not as good as Automata.
No, but I
Lacks the,
mean,
but it's still good,
yeah,
I guess. I found it a little lacking, but honestly, like it's not anything that like I didn't think it was awful or anything like that.
it's certainly better than average.
Absolutely, yeah. Obviously the music is fantastic. I got to get through it. I'm happy they did re-release it and bring it to the masses. Hopefully Yoko Taro keeps working
Yeah.
and gives us gives us the Drakengard remaster. That would be
I'm
awesome.
pretty sure that like Nier's got a good enough audience that they're going to be able to continue on with this franchise.
So have you learned anything about there's a mobile game?
Yeah,
called Nier
I've dabbled in a little bit. I haven't watched
Reincarnated?
Yeah, Reincarnate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It looks
I've
good.
dabbled in it. I haven't checked too much out yet. It apparently it's all Yoko Taro, so it should be interesting.
Like it's well supported. Like they just celebrated their first year anniversary, I think, and they
Okay.
added a bunch of stuff. Like
I think
I don't know.
12
I guess
episodes or something.
yeah. Like I guess it's got a fan base, and it's not some mailed in mobile crap. Like
No, but I
hey,
think what I heard too is that there's like I think there's a pay element to it, and that if you don't want to pay, you definitely got to put time into it to get through.
so like, do you mean like a ongoing paying thing, or you pay a fee up front?
No, I think it's like there might be some kind of in-game
Fuck.
thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. See,
it's free to play, but pay to win kind of thing.
I see. I that entire thing just ensures I likely will never play it because I hate that element.
I'm
Give me a price
fine
to
with
pay up
watching a
front.
video about it.
Yeah, like give me a price to pay up front and I'll gladly pay it. I don't care what it is. $30, I'll buy it. Like I probably would have bought this, but Now you tell me it has these, I know gotcha elements and
I think it's got a gotcha element or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm out. I'm not going to play it.
I mean, I think I mentioned I dabbled in Genshin Impact just to check it out, and I mean it's
art style and combat look great, but again, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's pretty. I'll give it that, but it's got a lot of pay elements to it that you don't have to use, but if you don't, it's going to take time to do stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and the allure is always too great for most people. They can't just lay off. If they're going to play long enough, they're definitely going to spend more money.
Yeah.
So me, I finished Returnal.
Oh, excellent.
I'm gonna try and go for the platinum. The platinum's kind of random, in nature, because you have to collect all the items and then these other things, and due to the nature of being a roguelite, you never know what.
You don't know where stuff's going to be, right? It could just pop up anywhere.
Yeah. But it's a really good game. Like the gameplay is so good, Donovan. Like it's everything that you would like.
I watched Maximilian play it for a few hours, and I was like, I had to force myself to stop watching because like I was getting it. I love the aesthetic.
Yeah,
the gameplay looks fantastic. I don't know how much you watch Maximilian, but he's a.
I follow him. I'll be honest, I don't really have a lot of time to watch anything.
Yeah. I watch a lot of his videos because it keeps me up to date with what's going on. Despite the fact that I don't play fighting games as much as I used to, I still like keeping up with the.
Sure, I like to see what a person I enjoy watching is doing, and he supports the fighting game community really well. So I like Maximilian. Sure.
Yeah, and King of Fighters 15 just came out, and honestly, it looks really good.
It does. I watched a couple. So I used to watch Twitch all the time too. I just don't have the time, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, like as good as Returnal is to watch someone play, it's so much better to play it. Like it feels amazing with the controller in your hand. Even like the haptic feedback on the DualSense controller, which is a new aspect of it.
Right.
You can feel it through the triggers and things like that. It's just different. I know it sounds like a gimmick, but trust me, it actually makes a difference on the controller. Like
no, I'm intrigued by that, and honestly, that game's probably going to be one of the first things I get when I get my PS5.
Yeah, like just the aesthetics. Now, like, and the last boss was like not easy. Like there are certain ways, like there's certain weapons that you can sort of wipe the deck with them. The pylon driver, I guess, is one of them. But I was at the end. I got to the final boss, and I only had one life bar, and no items left. So you got to go through 3 phases of the boss, and I did it. Like one more hit, I would have died for sure. Yeah. And it was I put my arms in the air. I was like, yes.
Okay, it's funny that you would say that because your little story reminded me of completing Ninja Gaiden 2.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's only so many bosses I think you really, really remember as being like, man, that guy that was some tough shit. Ninja Gaiden 2, that's a boss I remember. I literally jumped off the couch when I beat that guy.
The last boss?
Yeah. I guess I had an audience too, so maybe I might have exaggerated, but
why not?
Good times.
Play it up.
What are a couple of bosses?
I recommend Returnal 100%.
Me too, man.
There's a couple bosses in that game that are very memorable. Housemarque did a great job. Like, this is their first AAA offering.
Right.
Typically making small arcade style games, which I love pretty much all of them, and I think they were masters of it. One of the last even doing it. I hope they don't abandon that entirely, but now that they're owned by PlayStation, Sony, I don't know how much time they'll get to do that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think they're making an expansion to Returnal or some sort of DLC.
I was gonna say, it wouldn't surprise me based on it's been pretty successful for them, right? I don't
know what the sales number. I haven't followed it. I don't know if it's sold as well as they may have liked it to.
All right.
But we'll have to see.
Let's face it. There's only so many PlayStation 5s out there still.
Yeah, sure. All I know is whatever it's sold, it deserves to sell more because it's like that old the gameplay just it's like that old style gameplay that you want in a new aesthetic environment tailored to a new audience. But it's not easy, man. Like that game, the right combination of stuff and items. Like I got to a point where I didn't die. Like after the first 2 areas, everyone likes to call them biomes now. It's like the trendy word. Fuck biome. Levels. That's it. The first 2 levels I died quite a bit. But once I made it through the second level, I didn't die at all. I made it all the way through.
Well, you probably like, you know, you're adapting to the environments. You're like getting more familiar with the gameplay and.
Sure, but like it really, you get these items called artifacts, and they're permanent fixtures on. Now you lose them if you were to die, like, and then you have to start all over again. Very, very few things carry over between runs, so to speak.
I wanted to ask you because, and I don't want you to get too much in depth, but one of the reasons I stopped watching was because I was really getting intrigued by the story elements in the game. It seems like it has a kind of a really cool, mysterious story. Can you say something about it without saying too much? Like,
yeah, like the story it's obtuse. There is, I'll just say, there's more than meets the eye to it.
Well, I think that's what I find so intriguing.
There is like a true ending to it that I haven't gotten already, but I already know what happens, so I'm not going to spoil it. But I mean, just on a surface level, the lore building and world building that's in Returnal, man, it has such strong like Prometheus Alien Covenant vibes. Like the colors and the worlds and these massive monolith statues of these primitive beings. You're like, holy shit! Like it feels like a weird alien world. It really does.
Well, I mean, like that. Yeah, that's right up my alley too. So.
And it's not chintzy. Like it feels like ominous and encroaching at times, and then other times it's expansive. But it never stops looking incredible. And this ambient music sometimes, nowhere do you see it more than in the 4th level or Biome 4, where there's this haunting theme that builds and builds and builds until you get to the boss where it just explodes. And there's this crazy story that actually, and when you find out what the song actually is, you'll be like, oh my god, how did I not put 2 and 2 together? Based on, but I'm not going to spoil any of that. Bottom line is, play Returnal. It's fucking dope. You'd really love it, and it's a great challenge. It plays like a dream. Get out there, play that game. And also, I started playing Persona 5 Royal.
Oh, okay.
It's a super long game. I really like it. The UI is everything that's been built. But I will say, I know the UI won awards and stuff like that. It's a little busy. like
everything moves, right?
Well, it's not even that. I like when you go to the palaces, I will say, when the UI comes in and out, and then you mix it with these abstract colors, and then the UI is thing. I have a 75-inch TV, and I'm just like, sometimes maybe I'm tired. Maybe it's just me, but I'm just like, all right, man, my eyes need a bit of a break. Like, and I almost never have that. Like, I don't think I've ever really had that issue before. It's, but it's funny. Like I'm like 10, 12 hours in. It still feels like it's a tutorial to some capacity.
Well, I hear it's like a 100-hour game, right?
Oh yeah. Like it's a huge game. It's a massive.
Are you using any kind of walkthrough or anything to help you out? Or?
I'm not actually, but because it hasn't really taken the reins off yet.
Right.
Like it's sort of, it's giving you a couple options, but it hasn't really taken the training wheels off. And it's like, okay, fill your time, because I don't know how familiar you are with Persona games, but it's like, they're not like, you'll have some story, and then you'll have this thing that you have to do. Like you go to this alternate dimension, for instance, but you can take on that challenge at any point. Well, right. There's a deadline for you to do it, but it's up to you how many activities you want to do at the school and in your life in between, and upgrade your weapons and do jobs and all this shit in the normal world or at your school. But then there's this dungeon challenge that you have to do, and it's up to you when you want to take it on.
Yeah.
Right? The games aren't really dictating it to you when they want you to do it. Make sense?
But there is like kind of a light sim element, or like they've got
Yes,
like
no,
the
for
day
sure.
night.
Oh, for sure. Like, yeah, like morning, afternoon, after school, and it's up to you to do these events. But anyone out there who is familiar with Persona knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
The game.
Yeah, I'm a total noob, and this one would be my first, but I've been eyeing it for a long time. I just
super huge game.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. It's a daunting task, but I like it. It's stylish. It feels every bit of the budget and the care. Like everything is meticulously crafted in this game.
Did you get like the Super Duper Deluxe edition?
So they had like for one of the sales, all the DLC was like 75% off. So I think I just bought it all.
Yeah.
I don't even know what most of it is at this point.
It's funny because I've done a lot of research into the game already too, without even buying it, just to kind of figure out,
Okay, so tell me what you get.
Well, apparently, there's so much stuff in the DLC stuff that you get for free and everything that it kind of breaks the game in certain ways.
In what way? Like,
well, because some of the stuff you get is like some of the stuff you get from all this DLC stuff that's included is some pretty powerful stuff. So, and I think
you know what, I probably won't I won't use that stuff.
I think you have to be like a super I'll use your term, purist, or whatever. Like, whether or not you care. But I think it prevents you from being able to do something with another persona in the game that's really powerful, or I don't know. It gets complicated.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Like I haven't grasped.
You and I have been playing Yeah.
Like the whole persona crafting and melding, and then you can like sacrifice two to make other ones.
And that's what I mean.
That's a core element of the game. So yeah, I'll figure all that stuff, and I'll report back in as we go. I'm sure we'll be talking about this fucking game for like.
Well, that's cool because I do want to play it too.
Good. So let's go into our first thing. A lot's happened since you and I talked. I mean, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty about these topics, but it'd be hard to not touch on Xbox buying Activision and Blizzard, and then PlayStation buying Bungie only recently.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with the Activision things? I mean,
that's pretty huge.
Oh, it's the biggest deal acquisition in gaming history.
Yeah.
Almost $70 billion, $68 billion, but it's monetarily, I don't give a shit. It's basically like, they're taking away COD, they're taking away Diablo, and that's going exclusive. I mean, they're the biggest publisher, or at least third-party publisher of games in the world, and it's a monumental deal. But give me your thoughts, and then I'll give you mine.
You honestly think that those series will go exclusive?
So they've already. So that's come out recently. So once again, Phil decided to keep, like, his comments were extremely obtuse, just like they were with the Bethesda acquisition, where they're still not clarified in some capacity. With the Bethesda one, he said he'd keep legacy games still available for other hardware, but what does that even mean? I don't know what it means. So people, they're trying to say
Skyrim will get released forever on everything.
Well, yeah, but the next Elder Scrolls that are saying, and like, what's the next one coming out this year?
6?
Starfield.
Oh yeah, if it ever comes out.
Well, it's supposed to come out this year, so yeah, I know.
Wasn't it supposed to come out last year?
But even if it does, what state is it going to come in? Because let's be honest, like Bethesda Game Studios, man, Fallout 76 and Fallout 4, they look like crap.
Dude, I couldn't get into Fallout 4. I just could not.
They're very antiquated. Like games like Witcher 3 and on just expose the weakness of Bethesda Game Studios game. To me, I don't care about Bethesda games. In that acquisition, what hurt me was losing Arcane and like id, and Doom and things like that. So it remains to be seen. But in terms of Activision, like, how do you feel?
Well, I guess it depends on how much stuff becomes exclusive. I mean, I've always felt that like it's good to have exclusive on consoles because it creates a better market,
Well, it gives you a reason. Otherwise, what are we doing this for? You might as well just have a universal box.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. as far as, yeah, I guess it really depends on, like, if Call of Duty goes forward as an exclusive, that's pretty big. But at the same
So
time,
so recently, after, it has to do with the PlayStation acquisition of Bungie, because right away PlayStation didn't mince words. They said Destiny and all subsequent Bungie games will remain multi-platform. Since then, Phil has come out and said Call of Duty will remain multi-platform past the, because PlayStation had like the marketing deals for Call of Duty
yeah,
locked up for like 2 years, and they had for quite a while anyway. But so now Phil Spencer for Xbox has followed the PlayStation lead and says it will remain multi-platform. So it's not going to be exclusive.
yeah. I mean, I feel like Call of Duty's popularity is not at its peak by quite a long shot. I mean, I think there's still, you're always going to get people that buy it, I suppose. But I mean, I always feel like everybody always says that it's not as good as X version. You know what I mean?
But I mean, we say what we want. I don't care about Call of Duty at all.
Yeah.
But they sell the most games every year.
Yeah.
They just do.
Yeah.
They're
Wow.
the biggest selling title every year. That along with FIFA and NBA 2K and Madden and fucking Fortnite and Minecraft. That's it.
Honestly, like
and Grand Theft Auto 5, which is sold 3 different platforms.
Oh my God, yeah. I think, it's funny, like, you see so many games going into like games as service these days, and I think you and I are both, we're not really big fans of that way of presenting a game. I mean, I used to be I didn't do raids and stuff like that very often in Destiny, but I really enjoyed playing Destiny.
You were a Destiny guy.
I was in for a good 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
But, ever since, I guess I would say for the last 2 or 3 years, there was just more and more stuff getting thrown in, like pay this, pay that.
Mm-hmm.
You get these seasons now, and it's like, well, you can get this season, or you can get the season plus the pass or whatever like this. And it's just like, I'm sorry, but I'm done paying for a game, the same game, like over and over and over again.
But in terms of the Activision one, there's not much for me personally. If they do make it exclusive, that would
Activision's not one of my favorite publishers. I mean, as far as brands go, I'm not a big sports guy.
Even with Blizzard, like Blizzard in terms of their, like if this was Blizzard from like 10 years ago, I'd probably be singing a different tune. But I just think the company is fallen from grace in a substantial amount, similar to how BioWare has. But I mean, Blizzard was a much bigger company.
Honestly, we're not in the renaissance of gaming right now. I feel like
I don't know. I think this year is going to be incredible, but it's early days still with the next console generation.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, these new consoles are still kind of still new because, they're still hard to get.
Yeah. And then Bungie being acquired by PlayStation. Again, the games and even the stuff moving forward will remain multi-platform. It begs the question about why they did it.
Yeah,
I guess. But I mean, I'm sure they did it for a reason.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, it's not like Destiny's the only thing Bungie's ever going to have. I mean, they are working on a new IP.
Yes, they are.
To follow up Destiny with, but...
And it does fill a blind spot for PlayStation First Party because PlayStation First Party is lacking first-person shooters. And those type of games. And, existing multiplayer games. It's just a blind spot for them.
I guess it'll be interesting to see if Sony has any influence over the game.
I'm sure they'll get input. There's no way they could be fully autonomous.
If there's Sony money going into it, then yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see if the game changes at all. I don't, I'm obviously not fundamentally, but it would be interesting to see like if they introduce any different or new monetary aspects. We'll say.
I don't know. I think
hate that trend in gaming.
I think the big stickler for Bungie was they wanted to keep their autonomy as a studio,
I think
but
every
also
studio
wanted
wants that.
to. I think. Well, no. I mean, most first-party deals you lose that. I mean, you're going to get swallowed up by the. That's part of the reason you take their money. Now I get to tell you mostly what I want from you, right? But,
right.
I think Bungie wants to hit as many, like, the reason the deal went through is they're like, we want to hit as big an audience. That's how our games are going to work. And this is what we'll give you. And maybe Sony's like, okay, well, we can offer you. I think they have aspirations of being multimedia, for instance. Like in Sony has Sony Pictures, and they can do all these other things. So we'll see. I mean, it's an interesting deal. It's almost $3 billion for Bungie,
Well,
which most people would say is a gross overspend. By comparison, they bought Insomniac for $500 million. And I think Insomniac's a better studio top to bottom who's doing better games, but that's just me.
well, I think Insomniac's got a broader scope of what they've done. I mean, Bungie's mostly done first-person shooters for their entire tenure in gaming, I guess.
Other than before Halo, yeah.
Yeah. But they're very good at what they do.
Yep, and I think PlayStation's counting on them to be bigger. It'll be interesting. This deal for PlayStation is the first time they've ever made a deal like this, where they really don't have some sort of relationship. Generally, when they buy a studio, they've been working with these people. Like, even the most recent acquisitions of Housemarque and Bluepoint. Like, Bluepoint worked almost exclusively with PlayStation for years and years and years, right? Housemarque was exclusive to PlayStation well into the PlayStation 3 era, or at least had a business relationship with them. They went on their own for a couple games, but then they came right back. And it's like, it seems like a natural evolution. That's why they get these things. Whereas Xbox is just buying anyone and anybody. And I think it actually shows let's face it, like, Xbox hasn't been very good. I'll flat out just say they failed at fostering their own internal teams, so to speak. And this is just sort of showing that I guess we can't do it on our own. We'll use our massive wallet and slap you in the fucking face with it and just buy everything we need.
Well, I mean, Microsoft's kind of becoming the Disney of the
yes, it's a good
video game.
Yeah.
And I think that was something I'm not a big fan of that, of one.
It's scary because
umbrella corporation kind of thing.
It's like, I don't know if the other companies, like Nintendo said, we won't be doing that to anyone that can't give us the Nintendo. Like, as weird as the shit I give Nintendo, I respect them for that answer, because they're like, we do Nintendo games, and if we buy another studio, it's not going to be a Nintendo game, so why would we do that?
Yeah. But
I think if it was up to PlayStation, they wouldn't go this route, but I think they're going to have to try to keep up.
Well, again, we're still early in, this generation, so it'll be interesting to see what these acquisitions, what kind of fruit they bear. So
speaking of fruit, we got a dangling countdown of fruit from the Capcom website, which is teeing up for a Monday announcement.
Yeah, which is nice.
People are saying it's Family Day here in Canada, the holiday we didn't know we needed.
Yes.
But some say it could be the vaunted Street Fighter 6 announcement. How do you feel, and what do you think it is?
I relish that. I kind of hope that's what it is. I think more than anything, I want to see what the art style is going to be like for Street Fighter 6.
We talked about this before. I mean, it's probably not too much to talk about. I think it is going to be Street Fighter 6. Like you, art style interests me. Roster out of the gate interests me. I mean, it's time. It's beyond time to move past Street Fighter 5 and get into 6. I think it's going to be multi-platform this time around. I don't think it's going to be exclusive to PlayStation.
I really hope it is.
I do too.
No, you and I are both Street Fighter fans, regardless of how we feel about 5, which I think we're both.
It's one of the main pillars of Grizzled Veterans podcast.
Yeah,
we talked about this.
Yeah, 5 is a bit of a lemon. I don't hate it, but there's definitely things about it that don't appeal to me as much. It actually kind of went game as a service kind of model in a way.
Yes, it did.
I do find that the DLC is, like, when you compare it to...
and that's part of what kept me away. Like, I think it took a while for Street Fighter 5 to become the game it needed to be. But by the time it did, I was out. Like, I'm so, you got to buy all these they're so expensive.
Oh, dude, and that's what I'm trying to say is like when you factor in how much it costs to upgrade the game to the, having all the characters unlocked,
Mm-hmm.
it's
got to be like hundreds of dollars.
Well, I mean, okay, so at this point, I think there's a sale on right now where you can get the upgrade kit plus the Seasons 5 premium pass. Mm-hmm. And it's like $45.
Yeah, like that's not a sale to me. Their DLC is exorbiantly expensive.
I compare it to crazy. Street Fighter 4, the DLC.
But again, I'll just go to
they did those 4. Like incremental upgrades for Street Fighter 4, and each upgrade was like $15.
But yeah, and that game,
and you got characters and stages and.
Dude, what they did with Street Fighter 5 is a disaster. Again, you look at what NetherRealms does. I mean, if ideally we get everything up front, but that isn't the world we live in anymore, okay? But NetherRealm would give you like the fighting package, and then you buy this package. It comes with 5 characters that are released interspersonally over like 4 months, or they're all at once, and you have these characters. At least you know what you're getting and what you're paying for. You're not nickel-diming. It's $5 for this character. Then you've want 4 more costumes for him. You got to pay another $5, and this stage is another $5. I'm just like, come on.
I know, right?
Like, I'll just not give you any money. How about that? Like, either make it easy for me to give you my money, or I'm not going to give you any of the monies.
There used to be ways to make a reasonable amount of fight money in Street Fighter.
But that long was.
But they got rid of all of that for, like a casual player like myself. Like, because as much as I love playing Street Fighter, I don't play online very much.
Yeah.
And that's really the only way to make fight money at this point.
Fight money.
The challenges they give you now give you skimpy amounts, so it's not even worth grinding them out.
Rest assured, the Grizzled veterans are pumped for Street Fighter 6. Hopefully, we can go all into it next time we sit down. But I think that's definitely what it is.
Cammy equals by. I mean,
There you go. There you go, buddy. Yeah, you are a Cammy guy through and through. That's for
always my main. And then I enjoy a lot of the fighters, but Cammy's always, ever since she came out, she's been my main.
Yeah, I enjoy bodying you. Every single loser. It's great.
You're such a sore loser.
Oh yeah, I just shut up.
I mean, yeah, you do beat me, but it's funny when I win, you like lose your shit.
I think I've calmed down since having my son.
I would like to hope so.
You'd see a different side of me.
Yeah. I honestly, anytime you want to, it sucks that our schedules don't line up enough for us to be able to play online a little bit more because...
Donovan, I have no time.
Yeah.
I hardly have time to podcast, let alone, I mean, video games. I don't even know why I'm starting Persona 5. Like, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'll never finish
when you told me that, I'm like, you're starting Persona 5? Like, why don't you try tackling something that maybe you can actually finish?
Because I'm dumb. Like, why? I know. Like, why? But it's been there, and it seems so cool. And I'm just like, all right, I got all this DLC. I might as well jump in. And
did you finish Hades?
No.
I mean, you could probably rip through that fairly quickly.
But I just played a roguelite in Returnal.
But that's a totally different type of gameplay.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, like the art style and everything is different, and the view and the isometric nature of it, yes. But I mean, it's still you die, you start over stuff. I figure I'd give myself a break.
But I noticed that you had that a while ago. I'm just trying to think of you must have a few things.
Don't even try to figure it out. I got so many games.
Play R-Type.
I know. Like I should play that, right? I loaded up Ikaruga with my son, actually.
Oh, nice.
We sat there. That interested him for about 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just wanted to take off of my controller and throw it on the stairs. That's all he did.
The time will come. The time will come.
So, as we mentioned earlier in the podcast, today's the first massive release of the year. I mean, Dying Light 2 came out, but who cares? Horizon Forbidden West is the sequel to 5 years ago, I guess.
Was it? Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn came out, which is crazy. It came out.
And it is 2022, so that's 5 years. It seems so long, like, it does not seem that long ago, I'll tell you that.
Well, but 2017 was a very good year for gaming.
Oh, it's incredible. All three, from 2015 all the way through to 2019, incredible. Bangers every year. At least I thought so.
Well, I mean, I will say that 2017 sticks out for me for 3 games that I played that year that I remember just off the top of my head was Nier Automata, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Neo. And those were my top 3 games of that year. Absolutely.
I played Horizon Zero Dawn late. I think
Me
I
too.
didn't get to it until, late 2018, early 2019. I played it after you. I know that because we had talked about it and I was asking you about it.
I got the complete edition, so I got it like after it was out for a while too.
Okay.
And I got it as a Christmas present, so I played it after it had been out for a while too. But
so obviously,
maybe I played it.
Grizzled Veterans haven't played the sequel yet. I just got it in a box, and I'm not going to play it for a bit. I'm pumped to play it. Like, let's just do a little reminiscence. Like, what were your feelings on? I know you mentioned it's one of your 3 favorite games of 2017, but like, it was a new IP. It's a big deal, right? From Guerrilla,
honestly, like
only making Killzone, and then this was their first, a complete massive jump into an open world game with huge set pieces and robot dinosaurs and what turned out to be an incredible story.
It was, dude. The story again was grander and hit emotional beats I wasn't expecting. Fantastic acting on lots of the characters. You had a few cheesy moments here and there, but like, beautiful game.
Oh yeah,
great gameplay.
It's still
unique
it's
gameplay.
Still a beautiful game.
And in fact, I'm actually going to play through Zero Dawn again when I get my new TV and stuff like that, so I can enjoy it with the HDR.
Wait till you get a PS5, because I think there's some upgrades like for it.
Oh,
like a 60 FPS patch and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, like I'm probably gonna wait for. I think the version you got with your giant box set, does that include future DLC?
That's a good question. They haven't announced any. I doubt it. Because it's not like the game came with a season pass or anything.
No,
it comes with costumes. Excuse me. And like upgrade points and weapons and stuff like that, but that's all in the box. But in terms of like substantial, soon to come down the pipeline story content like Frozen Wilds was, no.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say it'll be interesting to see if they do something similar to Frozen Wilds for Forbidden West.
I'm sure they will. You played through Frozen Wilds, right?
Well, I had the complete edition. Yeah, I played through it.
Okay. And you like that?
The bears were like, my God, those bears. Oh.
Yeah, like they were intimidating. Like
they were rough.
Horizon Zero Dawn, the enemy design, and like the ways to take them down and all these parts, and then sometimes you can like brainwash them to fight for you and all these other things. I don't know, man. Like it came out the same time as Breath of the Wild, and so many people are like, yo, Breath of the Wild, this and that. Yes, Horizon didn't have the traversal aspects that Breath of the Wild made incredible, and that a mainstay. It was limited in that capacity, but in terms of how it played, obviously how it looked and the story, I just thought it was a better game.
Not knocking Zelda. I mean, I haven't played it because, God, it's been so long since I played a Zelda game, and it's a series I would love to enjoy more. I just don't have a system to play it on. But yeah, I mean, I guess in some ways, Horizon is almost like a grown-up version of Zelda in some regards.
Well, it's definitely different. And I mean, I don't know. Like, it's definitely like more. The story was very. I don't know. I liked how they did it. Like they drip feed you. I mean, and then
the Lord surprised me again. You get
figure out some of the things and how the name worked into it and how it all came together at the end. I thought the story was very, very well written.
Oh, dude! Like the first time you go into an arc and
or a cauldron and all these other places.
the cauldron, yeah. And I was just like, oh,
visually I was blown away. Like I had
so
to put the
that's
controller
what
down.
this game is going to be doing. Yeah,
I remember putting it down. I walked in one of those things. I was like, I can't believe this looks like this.
oh yeah, fantastic game.
And
So yeah, I feel like I'm going to enjoy Forbidden West a good year after it comes out,
sure.
and probably be all the better for it.
So I'm hearing good things about it running on a base, even on a base PS4.
Cool.
Which I don't know if you want to play it on that, but I respect that they got it running well on that. I mean, obviously a PS4 Pro will be better, PS5, but this game did start out. I mean, it's cross-gen, but it was always a PlayStation 4 game.
Okay.
They literally made it a PS5 game afterwards. It was originally intended to be a sequel and come out on the PS4.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't a hard switch.
No, but it's also, it's not like a true next gen game, I guess you could say. Like, because it's still attached to the old hardware, and we've seen this. Like, you can say all day long that, you know, it's not optimized for the current gen hardware. It can never be until you drop that old capacity. So I hope PlayStation and Xbox do this sooner rather than later, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see the reviews on it are really, really good. Not that I really care about reviews anyway.
You know what? I think
Easy
it
Allies
was probably safe to
really
say,
like.
You know, you almost didn't need to see a review for this game. It was pretty safe to say it would probably be good, right? It's one of those ones where, you know, I don't do a lot of pre-ordering or things like that anymore, but if I did, I probably would have done it for this game. You know.
And I really like the character of Aloy.
Yeah, no, as far as like, again, you know, I like to harp on modern storytelling sometimes, but you know, there's always exceptions, and Horizon has great writing and great characters, and
did you platinum Horizon, the original?
Not I think I didn't.
Okay.
I got quite a few of them, but I didn't.
This guy did.
That's nice. You've actually got quite a few platinums, so that's cool.
Yeah, well, I got 79 right now. Returnal, I'd like to be my 80th.
I got almost everything in Replicant, but I'm playing that on Xbox.
Okay.
And I do have a completionist achievement, but it's not like a platinum.
Well, but that's your like 1,000 gamer score,
right? Yeah,
whatever one.
But yeah, I've only got like only like 3 or 4 achievements left to get.
Oh, okay.
I accidentally missed one when I was doing the secret ending.
Oh, like a missable one? You'd have to go through the game again?
I kind of have to get... What I'd have to do is I'd have to go do ending D to start ending E again. But I've got a save that is right before the moment in the second playthrough. So if I wanted to do it, it would take... I would have to play through the ending of... Because I got a save that's right at the end of the game. So I would basically have to play through the last part of the game. Get the D ending, and then I would go into my save that's right before the transition into the E ending. So
I'm confused.
Yeah, you should be.
I'm very confused. But I mean, I'm not. I kind of get it. But
I thought it was really neat that in order to get the secret ending, you had to start a second game with a new character with a different name, play to a certain point, and then you're playing through this new section of the game that leads to the ending, and they literally ask you for the name of the person you want to restore, as it were. Yeah.
So okay, cool.
So you
Very
have
cool.
to like, yeah.
Yoko Taro, I think, just gets high and it's like,
if he does,
zany ass
all the
idea.
power to him. Because honestly, the little touches. There's so many little touches that make you just go, "That's really cool."
And no one else is doing that. Like, you know, those obtuse things and playing with save files and save states and various ending.
To put it into perspective, after I did that, I started playing Automata again, and I only had I have one achievement left to get on that. and I'll have a platinum for Automata. And
This guy got that one too.
yeah, so I did the ending that erases your data. I finally did that one. I'd been holding off doing that one. So I just had my data erased on that game. But you can't get it back in that one.
Yes, you can.
You can?
Yeah, you just upload it to the cloud before
No. That's cheating.
No, it's not. I don't want to give up my save.
That's cheating.
Yeah, it's cheating. It goes against sorry, Yoko Taro, but
and then you don't
I'm not gonna give that up.
And then you don't get the different title screen. But yeah.
What do we got here?
I think you wanted to briefly touch on some television entertainment before we wrap things up.
No, I got a topic here that I'd like to talk about. I mean, we got Book of Boba Fett. I mean, you haven't finished it yet, so I don't know.
No, I did finish it. I just skipped 2 episodes because...
Okay, well, I wanted to talk about a topic. Like, I'd like to do this moving forward. Maybe next time you can bring one up. But the topic I have is with a game recently released called Sifu. Did you read about that at all?
I've been hearing about it, and I haven't really checked it out yet, but I know it's some kind of martial arts game. Yeah, and it's I guess you could say it's like a roguelite, but every time you die, like, you age. Okay. And then it goes like that. But it's not an easy game, okay? And the usual, and I thought with the dawn of Elden Ring coming out as well, I mean, every time a Souls game comes out, we seem to get these arguments about, difficulty modes, and, the same people are whining about it. I thought we'd have a little conversation about difficulty in games, and frankly, gamers and games media whining because they deem something too difficult. I mean, I have my own thoughts, obviously, that's why I brought the topic up, but I thought I'd sort of pose that question to you and how you feel about it, because like we come from a very old school mindset in terms of video games, and me and a lot of different things in life. I just, games aren't meant to be played by everybody. I think that's a kind of exactly how I was going to word it. I think that they are, but maybe you can't beat it, and that's fine. I don't think that everybody should be able to conquer every game. I think that's kind of what you're trying to say. And it's funny that you mentioned this, because after just talking about Horizon, because apparently they've put in every single kind of I'm not sure to what degree, but apparently it's accessible on like a massive level as far as difficulty, and they want everybody to be able to play their game. And I think that's a great thing. Wanting everybody to be able to play your game is a good thing. But at the same time, if you've got a specific if you have a specific vision about what your game is supposed to be, and part of that vision involves the game being a certain kind of challenge that, is just there, then I think there's nothing wrong with that. Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. I want the vision, and I'm sorry, these games are meant to be, stress-free and enjoyable. I'm like, listen, man, no, they're not. Games have evolved past that such a baseline thing. Like, I remember playing shooters that were so stressful, but that's part of the enjoyment of it. Like, that sense of accomplishment, beating it. And I'm sorry, like, a game is meant to be played. Like, you want to have all these difficulty options in your game, that's fine. I'm not telling you not to do that. And I'm not talking about even accessibility in the, the bare bones level, like someone with color issues in their eyes. And I think that's part of it. But I do think. Yeah, but I'm not even talking about. I'm just strictly talking difficulty. And and the story. Period. That like term, I want everybody, a deaf or a colorblind person or disabled. If there's ways to get them to play, I'm all about that. I'm just strictly talking absolutely. Difficulty. I just if like Dark, I don't want. There's no way they should have difficulty modes in Souls games. No, and I don't think there ever will be. In terms of the Sifu one, they've bowed to it, and they're releasing a harder version and an easy mode. But to me, I'm just like, okay, you kind of bowed to the whiners, and I'm just like, I'm sick of the people whining about it, because it's like, how much time have you actually put into it?
or did you just die a couple times and then say I can't beat it? It's
Well, I think people want to. There's a percentage of people out there that want to be able to pick up a game and beat it the first time they play it.
Sure, and those are the people we call Gen Z.
Yeah,
and
Zoomers.
Zoomers.
Yeah,
like there's no like they got to be everything handed and piecemealed. I'm just like, the world doesn't work like that.
No,
and it doesn't feel like you earned it. Like
there's no sense of accomplishment.
No, there's not. And I'll be honest, like Souls games in essence aren't even all that hard.
No.
Perseverance and learning and actually adapting,
having some strategy
and some fucking patience. How about that?
And I think that's the key word, patience.
And they're like, why did I die? You don't learn any of the lessons the game's trying to tell you. None at all. Returnal's the same thing, Donovan. Like, I mean, they should have had save states. That's what they patched in later.
Yeah.
Where I could pause mid-run. So I will agree with that. But I guess if they stuck to that vision, then so be it. Like, I don't know whether I would have played it or not. That would have been my choice. But
well, it's funny because this makes me think
Returnal's still super difficult, and the punishment for dying is severe. You have to start the game over, more or less.
No,
and I wouldn't want it any other way. And I got to the point where I was getting my ass kicked at the beginning. Now I don't think I died as much as other people. Maybe I still got it. Maybe I'm really good at games. I don't know. I don't think I'm good, but I got to a point where I was just fucking murking this game, and I'm just like, I'm like, everyone says this is hard,
but it felt good.
But the game taught me shit, and also a little bit of the luck of the draw, and I learned the lessons, and it felt amazing.
Yeah.
So, and I earned that. And now, if I would have just dropped the difficulty down and started dusting everybody without earning it, it wouldn't have been rewarding.
Right. I mean, this kind of reminds me of a great meme I saw about a month ago of Snoop Dogg playing Dark Souls and like getting wiped out by the first boss and freaking out. And he's probably playing something else, but they're throwing the Dark Souls in there. And it's like, yeah, I mean, we've kind of already said it as best as we can, like, don't be entitled.
Like, you look at film. I don't go to the art house director and shit on it and ask him for like a common an explanation of this obtuse ending that he never intended to fill in the blanks of. Right. You know what I mean? And then it's not patched in. Now I know it's not a 1-to-1 comparison, games and movies, but it's just like, I just don't know where these people get off. And games media, like the journalists, are the worst. They are dog shit at video games for the most part.
There's kind of funny.
That joke about, everyone, these game developers are going to add like underneath easy mode will be game journal mode. And it's just like, baby.
Yeah. No, it's kind of funny when you think back to if you think back to like the EGM days and the Game Pro days when we had our magazines and everything. And, the guys playing the games back then were a hell of a lot more competent than than any of the journalists that we're seeing today in the internet age.
It was hard to have I will say it was hard to have a barometer on it then, because today you can look up what people have, their trophies and profiles are online. Now, a lot of these cowards, they like, if I see someone who makes their information private, like their games played and their trophies and achievements private, now I know you're just, you're not going to be honest about what you're playing and what you've done in said game you've reviewed or whatever. But back then there wasn't anything like that. But I will say, to their credit, like, there also wasn't the tools at the fingertips as there are now. Like, today anyone could look up a guide or talk to people on the internet to problem solve. None of that stuff existed back then.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, if you get stuck on something now, it's easy to just speak to your phone and have a video pop up that might help you get out of us. It's kind of funny. I remember playing A Link to the Past way back when, and that came with a little sealed card inside of it that had a few secrets inside of it. So if you got stuck, you could unseal this little hint card. And I got stuck in the game at one point, and I had to unseal this thing. And when it told me what it was that I wasn't doing, I was like, I slapped myself in the face. Was like, I didn't figure this out. It was a simple thing with like shooting an arrow into a hole in the wall kind of thing. But you know,
Donovan.
but yeah, I mean, something as simple as that, you'd be able to get a walkthrough, or
Sure.
you know, like a Reddit page or whatever, right?
Yeah, I guess just the moral of the story is just like, you know, again, not every game's meant for you, not every movie's meant for you. In terms of difficulty, I just think you got to stick with things, learn the lessons that the game is trying to teach you. If it's a good game and a good developer, that path for you to succeed. You don't need to be a no-hit speedrunner to finish these games. You can be a regular mortal, you know, to beat any Dark Souls game. Trust me, they're not that hard, and they're not the apex of difficulty anyway, as far as I'm concerned.
And not only that, but if you want to play online and get someone to help you out, then you do that too.
And those tools are all available to you too. Like, it's just like, I mean, social media, man. It's like this. It's like a 90% curse. There's 10% good, 90%. It just gives these people voices to talk about nonsense all the time. And I'm just like, how about just keep your nose to the grindstone a little bit, work it. I mean, maybe if it's kicking your ass for 3 days straight and you're not getting better, I don't know. Maybe you have an issue. But I swear, at the first sign of trouble, a lot of these people and gamers are bad for it too. It's too hard, and they just don't learn the lessons that the game's trying to teach you.
You know, it's funny with King of Fighters having just come out. It's amazing how many videos I've seen pop up in my recommended list that are like, is King of Fighters too hard to get into? Or like, you know, what do you need to know to get into it? And I think it's good that there are videos that are like, here's what you need to know to get into a game, like say like a fighting game, because it is a commitment to get into a fighting game.
It could be.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why fighting games aren't as popular anymore, because they're difficult to learn. I mean, they're easy to jump into.
Sure.
Incredibly hard, if not the hardest to master. But I mean, there's guys who play fighting games, and rather than learn, like anyone would learn, they just keep doing the same dumb shit. Now, I guess if you just want to have fun and you don't care if you win or lose, then whatever. But who wants to play those games to lose all the time? Like, I remember my wife's brother, we play Street Fighter. He tells me he plays. All the guy does is jump nonstop. I kick his ass 10 times in a row. You think he learns any lessons? No, he just keeps fucking jumping. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Like, do you not? I'm like, Jeff, how about you don't like jump all the time, man? Like, it's like you're really predictable. I don't know. Some people, I guess, just don't listen to the lessons that are trying to be fed to them.
Yeah.
Or again, maybe I'm just really good at video games and I just fast nonstop.
Well, I mean, it's all about commitment. It's about, if you're, especially with a fighting game, you have to commit yourself to learning combos and like,
and you have to be willing to unlearn the shit that you learn.
Yeah,
you know,
like you need to be able to
habits.
You know, have quick adaptability and like learn how to like feint your opponent and things like that. Like if you really want to get into a fighting game, it's not just a simple thing, you know. Like it's
I think they're the deepest genre in the world in terms of video games. Like the ceiling is ever expanding in most of them. It's just they're really hot. I just don't have the time anymore. I still maintain that they're one of my favorite genres in the world. I don't know, man. It's hard for me. Street Fighter 6, though, if that's what it is and the art style is appealing, that's the one. I'll jump back in.
Yeah.
But I think that in the end, I guess we're on the same page with this difficulty topic. Let's just persevere a little.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but
we sound like boomers, good. But whatever. Hard work, man. It is true. Like, just get good, man.
It's true. As you know, like it's cliche and people don't want to hear it, but that's really what it boils down to is like practice and
just get good, bud.
Get better, get your skills up. It's really that simple. It's not an insult.
I know. It's funny how so many people get triggered by stuff like that.
Yeah. It's not an insult. It's constructive criticism.
And also just get good.
Yeah. Anyway.
Do you want to end on a little bit of the Book of Boba Fett stuff?
We can. Yeah, let's just really quick. Like I said, I skipped 2 episodes. I watched the first 2.
What episodes?
I skipped 3 and 4.
Okay,
I
you didn't
jumped
really
back
miss much.
in when it became The Mandalorian, and those episodes were absolutely the best episodes.
Yeah, so spoilers.
Um,
Sorry, real quick. If you haven't watched Book of Boba Fett, shut it off now, or just be
yeah,
forewarned that we're going to spoil it not in totality, but
no,
we're going to
no.
talk about it openly.
And yeah, so episodes, I guess it was 5 and 6, were basically The Mandalorian, and they were great. Getting some more of Master Luke was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I struggled to. It's funny, like Boba Fett was this. I was never a believer in the adage "less is more." Sometimes, okay, they said it with Darth Maul, for instance, sticking to the Star Wars thing, and I completely disagreed. Maul deserved way more in the films, and then they've proved it subsequently with the character when they've had him in Clone Wars and all this other stuff, because Maul is just eternally awesome. So more would have been always better. So I didn't believe them then. But I kind of believe it with Boba Fett, because I'm like, here's this character that everyone loved, that off a minuscule amount of screen time has become this fan favorite, and then they finally give him this show, and
it made him less cool.
I just don't think it's the character. I think it's actually the writing is really bad for him, and it's like they're so interested in making everyone around Boba Fett look cool, except Boba Fett, where he gets his ass kicked all the time, and he fucking doesn't do anything cool, and it's like he's interested. He's a crime lord, but no one, like, he doesn't even know what he's doing, and he doesn't want to get his hands dirty. He seems to not know how it works, even though he's like one of the most well-known bounty hunters, and he would have been involved in crime his entire life, and he doesn't know his way around this. And then they flat out tell him on Tatooine, they're like, yeah, no one really respects you. And I'm like, okay, like, Boba Fett's supposed to be like this eternal badass, and peasants are like shitting on him. I'm like, this isn't cool.
Well, okay. Another problem, and this is like with superhero movies too, but like, god damn it, his helmet was off like 90% of the time. And I know he's not. Look. And that's his look. I'm not saying because of Mandalorian rules or anything like that, because he's not a Mandalorian.
No.
But I felt like this show about Boba Fett actually made him less cool.
100% it did. And they did a disservice to the character. He deserved much, much better.
Even the Sarlacc thing was shorter than it should have been.
Like, they gave some substance to it, but I don't know, like, it should have been, like, the bones were there for it to be a great show, but it was so surface level. Like, he's on Jabba's palace, and then, I don't know, like, and his sidekick, Fennec Shan, the Asian chick, Ming-Na Wen, like, I know people like her. She's so boring.
Well, and like they have that one big scene at the end of, I guess it was episode either 5 or 6. They had that big scene at the end where she's doing all the talking and he's standing there with his helmet in his hands.
She's like a substitute. Like, why is she there? Like, Boba Fett doesn't figure out anything. He's like, I'm going to do it this way. No, Boba, I think we should do it this way. Okay, I guess we'll do it your way. And it's like that all the time.
Well, and like, if he's going to be standing there not talking, then have him at least have his helmet on.
Well, looking cool. Sure, but I mean, what's the point? He's the namesake of the show. He's what everyone tuned in on. I didn't tune in to see Fennec Shand kick the assassins. Boba Fett got his ass kicked so many times. Then he gets his ass kicked by these assassins, and then Fennec is the one that goes after them and beats them up in like episode 2. I don't know, man. They did such a disservice to this character.
We'll say that the coolest moment in the finale was the obvious moment of him riding the Rancor.
Yeah.
And that was very cool to see, but honestly, the episode was pretty bland.
The final
final episode.
See, once it just goes to show you that the Mandalorian's much more interesting. It has like, the relationship he has with Grogu and stuff like that. But I will say, I don't like what they did with Grogu. Like, okay, they built at the end of season 2 the big build up with Luke, and he comes and saves him. He's going to take him in training, and then all of a sudden he just up and leaves him. And they don't even show it, dude. They don't even show it.
I know. I think I have a feeling.
And I'm like, okay, it just felt the finale of that was completely rushed.
And I kind of feel like the only reason that Grogu is back with Mando is just for that simple fact of having them together.
I guess why'd they split him up at the end of the second season?
I think it would have been so much cooler for him to be training under Luke.
Oh, 100%. Like, I don't get it.
I don't know. I guess it depends on what they do with him. But I don't know.
What a waste of plot point that was such a build up. Yeah. And then you waste it like that. I don't know. It's weird to me.
Yeah, it was a very weird episode. I didn't think it was a good finale overall.
Like, and explain to me in episode 5, like, Mandalorian has the dark saber. He's using it right away. Awesome. Why is it so heavy? It's like he's got like a pile of bricks. He's like, it gets heavier every time I swing it. And they never explain why.
It's because it reacts to your emotions. So you have to be clear of mind to use it properly.
Okay. I mean, I guess I missed something
the more emotional you are when you're fighting with it, the heavier it is.
I just thought that was weird because like lightsabers are weightless and stuff. I know this isn't exactly the same.
Yeah, it's different, right?
It's different, but it's just like he's swinging this thing like it is like 100-pound baseball bat.
Yeah. It has some. I guess it has something to do with emotions. But
I remember the master there, or whatever the hell her name was. There's only like 2 of them, and that bothered me too. Now they live in this slum. The 2 Mandalorians that are left. So they're supposed to be these awesome warriors, and the rest of them all got gunned down in that shootout in season 1 by the people that were in the town.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
The writing is really good at times, and at other times it's a little hit and miss. You know, everybody goes off.
I don't really have any problems with Mandalorians, but this entire Boba Fett thing, I question why it exists in its state. If this is all they had for Boba Fett, I was like, why does this show have to happen?
Yeah, no, I was ultimately disappointed by it.
And Cad Bane, you know who Cad Bane is?
I didn't know who he was until this, but yeah, he's pretty badass.
He's so awesome in Clone Wars, and he's great when he shows up in here. But it's like they've completely wasted him. Yeah, now he's gone and dead. I don't know. I again, like, anyone out there that's an aspiring writer, that show should show you that if they can write that and put it out, you could do it too.
Yeah, no, we're not in a high point of entertainment is not in a good place right now. But that's a discussion.
You're down on entertainment and games.
A bit of a cynic.
Humbug, Donovan.
But yeah, we can get it. That's a topic for another show.
Sure. Yeah. All right, let's wrap up here. That's the Book of Boba Fett shit on review.
I give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely not higher. If I had to review it, it's just not very good. I don't know what they were doing with it.
It was a letdown. I'm looking much more forward to the Obi-Wan show. I have hopes for that one.
Yeah, John Williams is back to score it. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But great. I hope they don't screw this one up, though. I tell you that. I know Hayden Christensen is back.
Yeah, and apparently they're going to do flashbacks with him as like pre-Vader,
like Clone Wars type stuff.
Yeah.
Good, excited because the Clone Wars is the best thing that ever came out of the prequel stuff. Anything after the original 3 trilogy, that Clone Wars sure is great. All right, let's wrap it up here, buddy.
Okay, my friend, that was a pretty decent episode.
Yeah, this THC Coke thing is kicking my butt.
Floating away.
Oh yeah, like I looked at the clock at about the 30-minute mark. I'm like, man, the energy is starting to I'm more mellow than I usually am. I've never really had one of these.
Recording these this late is definitely playing.
It's only 20 after 10, but
yeah,
this thing here, this little thing, mellow J Rose out for sure.
All right. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show, and
I sure did.
Stay tuned.
Glad we did it. Glad we
for the further adventures of.
Let's not go another month though. Let's try to bang one out in a couple weeks. We'll see. for the Grizzled Veterans, to you people out there, sayonara, sweethearts.
Yep. Stay tuned for the further adventures of Grizzled Veterans.
Later, guys. Thanks.
Adios.